It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the Morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS along with Fletcher.
I got to get romantic for 1 second.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Did the moon and Venus look gorgeous in the east sky driving in? So close. So it was, I mean, they were just sitting there, but it was pretty freaking cool.
Hold on. Open a bottle of wine if we're going to go that way. Man, I missed out on it. Good morning, Ryder. That was it?
Yes. It's boat time. It's boat time. It's time to get on the water, man.
Man, it is. Check this out. We have an announcement to make for the love of Benji. KQ's Karaoke Cruise is back. Friday, June 20th.
Okay.
With the good people at Paddleford Riverboats, Harriet Island, and St. Paul, we will be rolling out to sea for a karaoke cruise.
Wow.
Why don't you join us? Have drinks with your buds here at KQ. There will be karaoke, as you may have imagined, it is a karaoke cruise, hosted by Jordan from our weekends here, and free food from Lucky's 13. The cruise will be sponsored by Dennis Kirk. You can get your tickets at 92kqrs.com. This will be a fine time.
It's a hell of a deal for $25.
It's a super deal for $25, Paul.
What do obviously this is going to be my first. What do I need to know going into this thing?
I think flying blind is your best bet. I think walk in there with
dangerous as hell, man.
With just have no expectations whatsoever and let the magic sweep you away.
So you're going to see some very competitive karaoke singers.
Oh, yes, you will.
Yes, that are really going to bring their A game, that are very serious. So Jordan will be heading that up. We're also going to have kind of a fun, crazy karaoke, just non-competitive stage. And you might, if he shows up, see our sales manager do Mustang Sally after 3 or 4 drinks.
Usually takes a close to a half dozen.
Well, he has like one of the hardest jobs in the building.
Yeah.
So just giving him 3.5 minutes to blow off some steam is spectacular.
All right.
Everybody needs to back him up with a Ride Sally ride.
Sure.
And then, hanging out and having a great time.
I love it.
92kqrs.com. Go get your tickets right now. It is Friday, June the 20th, Paddleford Riverboats, Harriet Island. It's going to be a very, very, very fine night indeed.
Yes. And all weekend, we're kicking off summer with chances to win great concert tickets and your first shot to get on the boat. So, there we go.
Hell yeah.
Be here starting at 5.
Yeah, the officially unofficial kickoff to summer, right? That's what we're calling it this weekend?
That is what's happening.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All that makes me certainly, puts me in the mood that I would describe as feeling Minnesota, Paul.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, what are the headlines, sir?
Hopefully after we open up the ticket sales, it's you're going to need a bigger boat. Hopefully we need that. All righty then. John Oliver did not choose the St. Paul Saints for his last week tonight rebrand, but that didn't stop the Saints from making the most of it.
Okay.
Last night, they hosted Plane Night. Their goal is to make the game as boring as possible. First 1,000 people into the ballpark got one plain piece of paper.
Nice.
Instead of
nice.
Instead of the peanut toss, they just threw white bread at the crowd.
Okay.
There was even a PowerPoint presentation on the Jumbotron featuring the names they didn't use when the team was founded in 1993. Those were the Accountants, Municipals, and Eastern Gray Squirrels, which actually would have been a great name.
Wow.
I like Municipals, too.
That's pretty good. Eastern Gray Squirrels would have been pretty hot.
Wait a minute. I mean, think of the mascots you could have had with that. Honestly, the Saints never disappoint. They are so creative, and they don't care. They will try anything. They're amazing.
And they did pull off the victory over those damn Norfolk Tides. 3-2.
Stupid Tides.
Well, Simeon Woods Richardson in a rehab start went out and just boat raced the Tides. So it's kind of like, hey, I'm feeling better now. I'm going to pitch, and I'll just go out here and destroy some guys. So that was pretty good.
Also boring to just watch another team get destroyed, even when it's the opposing team.
Sure. That's very true.
Apparently, they only put people on the Jumbotron, too. Like, when they pan the crowd at these sporting events, they only put people that were dressed in just, like, plain clothing.
Nice. Perfect.
Do we know who won the John Oliver thing?
Yeah.
Yes, the Erie, Pennsylvania Seawolves.
Yeah.
What the hell is a sea wolf?
He's a sea wolf. Well, I'm not really sure what a sea wolf is, but it's Erie, Pennsylvania is nowhere near an ocean. I can tell you that. So that's got something to probably do with why John Oliver chose them.
Could be.
You're landlocked. I mean, there's a lake nearby, but that's not the sea. That's a lake.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
The U.S. Treasury announced yesterday, I mean, it kind of feels like this has been coming for quite a while. We're finally going to stop issuing new pennies. It's the end of an era for sure. Ending more than 200 years of production for the 1 cent coin. The Mint has already placed its final order for penny blanks. That's the metal disc used to create coins, and will continue minting until that supply runs out. Likely in early 2026, consumers can continue to use existing pennies, but obviously as circulation declines, banks and retailers will likely round your transactions to the nearest nickel. So really, I'm going to just save pennies and start using pennies so I can get nickels back.
I see. Okay.
You know?
Well, I appreciate
I mean, they ain't rounding up. They rounded down like you're
You can't round down a penny. You have to round it up.
I appreciate the cost-saving measure. However, lost in all the hubbub is the fact that it costs 13.8 cents to produce a nickel. So, I mean...
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I have a feeling
nonsense.
This is one of those things that's going to be like, yeah, we probably should have kept the pennies around. Anyway,
well, they can always bring them back. They say they're going to save $56 million up front by stopping the pennies. So we'll see.
We'll see.
The class of 2025 at Bridgewater State University of Massachusetts got more than just a diploma at their graduation ceremony. Billionaire businessman Robert Hale Jr. was on hand to give the commencement address, and before wrapping up his speech, he announced to the graduates that he would be giving each and every one of them $1,000.
Yes.
Asking them to use $500 for themselves and give $500 to a cause or a person who needs it. Quote, "We're proud of you. These are turbulent times, chaotic times. You guys have weathered the storm. Our community needs your help, your leadership, your empathy now more than ever." And by the way, Robert Hale Jr. is the founder and CEO of Granite Telecommunications. They provide services to businesses.
Never heard of him, and I'm just going to pretend it was Alan Hale Jr., the man who played the skipper on Gilligan's Island, giving away all that money. In my mind, I'll picture the skipper up there at commencement, not some businessman.
I think that makes sense. That's a good idea. I like that.
I could have used $1,000 back in the day.
Right?
Don't think too hard about these graduation presents. Cash is king.
That's it. That's the only present.
Yeah.
That's 1,000% true. Can already smell Pronto Pups and cheese curds. State Fair's kickoff to summer got started yesterday. So if you need a little preemptive jolt of State Fair without the masses and free parking, now is your chance. More food than ever, yard games, and did I mention free parking? State Fair, kickoff to summer. Off and running. Me and Mrs. Fletcher or Mrs. Pulowski we're going to stroll over there today after we're done.
Very nice.
The weather's perfect.
Couldn't be better.
We're going to go check it out. See our buddy George at the mini apple pie stand. I love the mini apple pie. So
I've been there myself. Pretty strong.
Yeah,
Pretty
mini
strong.
apple pie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very strong.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite thing there.
Yeah.
A music talent agency called Sound Talent Group says 3 of its employees were killed in Thursday's plane crash in a San Diego neighborhood. Just in case you're not familiar, a private jet hit a power line in foggy weather and smashed into a home. The agency confirmed that co-founder Dave Shapiro was killed, but did not identify the other 2 workers. However, former drummer of the band Devil Wears Prada, Daniel Williams, was believed to have been on the plane also. Shapiro is the owner of the plane and has a pilot's license, owns a flight school as well called Velocity Aviation, and Sound Talent Group has represented artists like Hanson, Vanessa Carlton, Sum 41, etc.
Awful.
This thing is crazy.
Yeah, it is. It was nuts to see that headline late yesterday. Hey, remember Barbenheimer weekend?
I do, very clearly.
It was massive. I guess this weekend we'll call it Stitch Impossible. Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning are expected to do a combined box office of $485 million, and that would potentially set a Memorial Day weekend record. We'll see what happens.
Wow.
That got me thinking, by the way. Biggest Memorial Day weekend openings ever.
Okay.
Top Gun Maverick in 2022 was the biggest of all time.
Of all time, sure.
Yep. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End in 2007, and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That's your top 3 all-time biggest Memorial Day weekend box office.
Is that
movies.
Indiana Jones 4, like when he was old and stuff?
It was 2008.
Okay.
So I remember, didn't they've done one since then, even though.
All I remember is the first one, honestly. I don't even know if I saw the second one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't that the good one?
No, the first one was the Raiders of the Lost Ark was the one I was. That was the first one. That was the great. But the second one might have been great. I probably did see it now that I'm thinking, but I remember nothing about it.
Okay.
So that's me.
Temple of Doom. You saw that, I'm sure.
Unlike, is that the second one?
I think so.
There's no way by the time the third one came out I would have cared anymore. By the difference, so Barbenheimer, I saw both and loved them both. The difference between that and Lilo Possible or whatever you called it is I won't see either. See, that's the difference.
I will see both.
Okay, great.
I've got an 8-year-old.
Yeah, you
cannot
do.
wait
Yeah, you do.
for Stitch. Oh my God.
Right.
She makes us stop everything in the house when a Lilo and Stitch trailer comes on.
Beautiful.
According to grilling experts, there is a right way and a wrong way to grill hot dogs.
Okay.
I figured this weekend was the time to dive into this.
Let's discuss.
Tackle this. First off, the experts recommend spending a few extra bucks on the good stuff because even expensive hot dogs are pretty cheap, so the extra cost is money well spent. And then they say when cooking hot dogs, don't mess around. Crank it up to high heat and grill them fast while turning them frequently. Once they're browned and charred evenly, serve them quickly.
Well, they're already been. You're not
They're
actually
cooked.
cooking
They're
them.
cooked.
You're just
warming them up.
reheating them.
Yeah.
You know what I like to do? I like to boil them and then put them on the grill.
You don't do that, do
I do.
you?
Yeah, put them in the water
Really?
first for a few minutes. Get the heat there, and then just do the outside. Just get them nice and blackened a little bit on the outside. But then because I don't trust the grill for 2 minutes is going to do the job through and through. So they hit the grill already warm.
Interesting.
You don't trust the grill?
Not for the quick. I just want to get the quick char on there and eat it.
Okay.
Listen, look,
Does it
man.
bring any taste difference, or is it just simply to warm it up?
No, it's just something I can talk about and get people to look at me like I'm crazy. It's like, hey, I'll do it my way, and then look, I don't know how to do anything. It's just one of the. I just let me own this. Let me have this.
Okay, all right. I like Fast and Furious.
Okay.
On the grill, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I was going to combat you, but you said, let me have this. I'll just let you have it. All right.
Thank you.
Fine.
I appreciate that.
Because, you would spend less time if you just did it all on the grill.
Sure. Look, I'm not saying it's over.
It's over.
But there's a large woman, and she's warming up those pipes right now. If the Thunder sweep the Wolves, I will not be at all surprised after what I saw last night. Game 2, final score 118-103. Down 8 at halftime. I thought the Minnesota Wolves, they looked like a team down 20. There was an inevitability to what was about to happen.
Oh, man.
A 14-2 run for the Thunder. It's weird. It happens when you least expect it in these games. The Thunder just does a 10-0, 12-0, 14-2 run where suddenly we have a bad pass, a weird miss, a rebound that we should have had, and it just seems like a series of unrelated events. Like, it leads to how are we down 17 all of a sudden? Yeah. But that's what the Thunder does every game. They are, as we've been talking about, their defense is just on a whole nother level from anybody else in the NBA. The series is over. The fact that right now is just let's not get swept. I'm sorry, this team is just playing at a level that nobody else in the NBA is going to touch. And trust me when I say I would love nothing more than in a week and a half to be so wrong and say I can't believe we beat that team. But I cannot imagine. I've been watching basketball a long time, and I don't have any idea how we're going to turn this series back around.
I trust you.
We're just going to have to play perfect basketball. And so far I haven't seen us do that.
That's tough.
Hey, how about the Frost?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby. Down 2-0 would be a bad way to come back home. And last night, with 16 seconds to go in the third period, down 1-0. Britta Saleme with this one.
Panic taking the draw for Minnesota. One back for the Frost. It's Steckline. Walks in. Thompson lets a look. In front, Phillips. They score!
16 seconds to go. It's funny, Ottawa scored with only like 2 minutes left in the third to take a 1-0 lead. And then the Frost come back, 16 seconds, get the equalizer. And then Curl Saleme again in overtime with the winner. That's huge. That's fantastic. Games 3 and 4, Saturday and Monday at the X.
It was cool to see. You waited the entire game to get all the goals, basically.
Yeah.
Outshot 38-24.
Nice.
Maddie Rooney from, if I remember correctly, Forest Lake, Minnesota, stood on her head, was fantastic.
She stopped 37 of 38 shots.
Yeah, not bad.
Pretty great.
And you know what? Here's the deal. In Minnesota, if you want to rely on winning, you lean on the women in this town.
That's what the record would show. History is pretty clear on that one.
Yeah.
Minnesota Twins, 7:10 first pitch tonight, both tomorrow and Sunday. 1:10 p.m. first pitch.
Okay.
Nice afternoon baseball for the weekend. This series, a 3-game series against the Royals. Both teams are 5 games over 500. It'll be a good series to gauge whether or not this recent hot streak for the Twins against mostly crap teams really means anything or not. So this is a good series.
Can we just play the Orioles again?
Please. I mean, my God. I would like to welcome everybody who's listening and let you know how much we appreciate it. But right now, especially those in Little Canada. Come on, Little Canada. You know we love you.
They do Canadian Days with their sister city, Thunder Bay, in August. I might have to go to Canadian Days. That sounds fun.
I just want to pinch Little Canada's cheeks. Oh, look how cute you are, Little Canada. It's a nice part of the world, though. I'll tell you that. It's fantastic. As it is a holiday weekend, we thought we'd share with you the perfect way to make a s'more, apparently.
Okay.
A kids' summer camp has come up with the absolute perfect protocols, if you will.
This, I think, is one of those instances where you listen to the kids.
I would agree.
When it comes to s'mores, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ideal marshmallow roasting time.
Okay.
Not 2:30, not 2:40, 2 minutes and 37 seconds.
It's that specific.
Over medium heat. Okay.
Oh, man. How do you know if your bonfire's at medium
Thank
heat?
you. I'm just picturing a fire. So 2 minutes, 37 seconds over medium heat. And they suggest go with darker chocolate, not milk chocolate.
I've never tried dark chocolate. That makes sense, though.
No, it's always the graham cracker, the marshmallow, the Hershey bar, which is milk chocolate.
But dark chocolate actually sound good.
I'm a fan of dark chocolate. Now it says heat up the graham crackers for 12 seconds.
What?
Oh, damn. How are you heating up the graham crackers?
I have no idea. A perfect s'more has a ratio of 2 parts graham cracker, 3 parts marshmallow, 1 part chocolate.
See, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, I never would have thought of that neither. 2 minutes and 37 seconds over medium heat.
Okay.
You know how I do a marshmallow? I just stick it in the fire, and then it becomes engulfed in flames, and I hold it up, and I marvel at it, and then I blow it out at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just put it in my mouth. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, we're making s'mores.
Okay, remember how you did the boiling of the hot dog before you did the grill? With your marshmallow, I'm telling you, go like a ways away from the fire, let it get a tiny bit brown first, then I'm telling you, the middle is so much better. I'm telling you. Trust me. Trust a fat kid.
No, here's the thing. I'm going to eat 1 s'more a year tops. Okay,
yeah, same.
Unless
so
someone,
it better be perfect.
If somebody walks up to me and presents this perfect s'more, I'll eat it. But when I say I'm going to eat a s'more, like and the kids and Rosemary and the kids, trust me, we've done the s'mores at the fire pit more times than I could ever count. But I just don't. I'm just not I don't get that excited. I get excited. I used to get excited for the kids' sake. I acted like I gave a rat's ass because they were excited. I'm like, hey, here we go. We're doing this.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I'm like, I just want a burnt marshmallow. I don't need the chocolate. Right. I don't need the graham cracker.
What changed it for me and my salty taste buds is somebody gave me a s'more and they put a little smack of peanut butter on it.
See, that's solid.
Yeah, so that was real good.
You know what? Maybe
that's working for me.
Maybe you two need some of that dark chocolate that has like the sea salt sprinkled on it.
Always a fan of that.
That would be that with a s'more. That might be kind of good for you too.
I looked at some this morning and debated on whether I should have a shank of dark chocolate with sea salt, but I passed. I'm still going back to the 12 seconds on each side of the graham cracker. What sort of tong are you using to heat the graham cracker with?
They make actual like things that hold the whole thing together.
Oh, we've gone too far.
Yeah, we have. But I used to really get excited about s'mores. I'm not so sure anymore because I'm going to need like multiple timers on my phone. It's like a whole science project, for God's sakes.
651-989-ROCK. What's the s'more protocol? What do you think? How off base are we?
Yeah.
What's the hack? Come on. Hell, I'll take any grilling hack as long as it doesn't involve like asparagus. I don't want to hear about asparagus on the grill. Relax, okay?
It is good, though.
Every now and again there's a story about a car going off the road and running into a house. You'll hear about this. The other day on 35, I saw a truck that went off the road and ran right up into a retaining wall up a very steep hill and broke right through.
Oh, geez.
Traffic was backed up forever. It was kind of crazy. In Norway yesterday, a gentleman woke up and found a vehicle in his front yard. And in fact, it stopped 5 meters, 15 feet from his bedroom wall.
Okay.
Now, this guy lives in a very secluded part of Norway, right on a giant body of water. This was not a car. This was a boat that ran aground and stopped 15 feet from his bedroom.
Like an Alumacraft?
I'm sorry. Did I say a boat? I meant a 450-foot cargo freighter.
Oh, what?
Stormed ashore at 5 a.m. Dude slept through the whole thing. His neighbor woke him up, freaking out. His neighbor woke up and saw this ship coming, full speed ahead, just blasting in, runs over, he's banging on doors. Wake up, you're about to be destroyed by a container ship. And by a degree, like 1 degree left, the ship missed this house miraculously. There are photos that look like something someone just invented, like a totally fake. And there's photos and thank you. It looks photoshopped to see a giant cargo ship with dozens or hundreds of containers, like shipping containers you see on trains, just resting on the shore right in this guy's front yard, right up to it. He said he woke up, came outside, and had to look straight up to see the top of the ship. I mean, we're talking about a ginormous ship, like an ocean-going sea vessel cargo ship, right in his front yard. He said the doorbell rang at a time of day when I don't prefer to open it. That was the quote. We'd play you some of the interview, but it's all in Norwegian. But the guy is just astonished. It was so close to breaking through his house. Right now, of course, the company that operates this vessel is saying, we're just so glad no one was injured. We have no idea what happened. We're going to get to work on this. I'm imagining yet another...
They don't know what happened?
They're not. If they do, they're not saying it. A lot of guidance issues in the waterways these days. I mean, I feel like in the last 2 years, we've had more of a lot of things. A lot of vehicles going awry in the world, basically. This is pretty incredible. If you see photos of this, and we'll get something up at some point, it's just astonishing.
I was just going to say, I'm actually working on getting it up on our Instagram right now. It is... I mean, I don't know how to say it other than you have to see it to believe it and know it's not Photoshopped. It's insanity.
Well, that's mind-boggling.
That is mind-boggling, man. That is mind-boggling. Hey, a little bit closer to home, we do have an update. Another ship that ran aground, as we all remember, the dramatic Beer Can Island boat. Mm-hmm. The eyesore in the St. Croix River. It's just been there since, last summer. Somebody just ran aground last August. It's kind of a weird story. Okay. A guy named Grayson McNew was stuck on the island. He parked it there in August after it started to take on water.
Okay.
And then apparently he sold it to a treasure hunter from Alabama because the story has to have shifts and curves and changes and you can't just have a straight line story.
Right.
This guy, Bill Warren, a treasure hunter, said, I bought it from him for $200.
Oh, damn.
I'm just going to fix it up.
That's a hell of a deal on a boat.
And he said, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to fix it up and take it all the way to New Orleans and go look for some buried treasure in the Gulf. I believe that was the guy's plan.
Fascinating. That's awesome,
actually. And then after he got a look at the boat, he was like, I don't want this piece of crap. What the hell was I thinking about? So basically, it's just been sitting on Beer Can Island for this whole time. Been sitting there. Some other folks from the community waiting for Hudson, Wisconsin or some other town to do something. This eyesore, finally some private citizens got together and said, let's just go get the damn thing and get rid of it.
Do we know how many fees this guy racked up with that boat just sitting there?
I got to think it was starting to get a little heavy. Yeah, a little thumb on the scale situation. 4 men used pumps and their know-how of the river to pull this 54-foot motor yacht. It's called Sweet Destiny. They should have called it Sweet Density, I think.
Yeah.
They took it off Beer Can Island. It's the end of our own local shipwreck tale.
Oh, no.
The SS Minnow has been removed.
It's perfect timing with Memorial Day weekend. Like, think of all the firewood they've got now.
Well, they took it to a place to see if it could be rehabbed, but I think you're right. I think you have a better idea there.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Jarvis, whose family owns the St. Croix River Cruises Company, he and some guys went in there and just got the damn thing. And he said, the why we did this, it's because of our community, the beautiful river. We wanted the boat gone. I look forward to enjoying the river without the shipwreck there, the nuisance. It's just not a good look for the community. Yeah, Dave.
Dave.
I like you taking matters into your own hands.
Power
right on,
people.
brother.
Power to the people.
Go hit the St. Croix River, and don't you worry. There's not going to be an eyesore on Beer Can Island anymore, except for maybe some beer cans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those kind of hard to justify those anymore.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. We were talking about a grilling protocol specifically for s'mores.
Okay.
The idea that, you can craft the perfect s'more. A kids' summer camp came up with a whole bunch of things. They were like, first of all, you have to put the marshmallow on for exactly 2 minutes and 37 seconds. And then you got to spend 16 seconds on each side of the graham cracker, something like that.
This sounds like some kind of science activity the parents gave the kids so that they could pound a few beers.
I think that's exactly what that was.
Here, go be super bored at camp.
651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line. If you've got some grilling hacks, a couple of suggestions from some listeners. One said, use a fudge stripe cookie instead of graham crackers and candy bars.
Okay.
Not as messy. So he's saying get rid of the chocolate and the graham. Just let the fudge stripe cookie take the place of both. So basically 2 fudge stripe cookies and a hot marshmallow in the middle.
Okay. Well, I like the efficiency.
I can see you working there.
Yeah,
and
then the chocolate on the fudge stripe is going to melt, though.
Well, but that's okay. I mean, doesn't it melt anyway in a s'more?
It says less messy. I don't know if it's less messy. That's all.
Another text: use 2 chocolate chip cookies instead of a graham cracker. See,
I feel like they're going the same direction.
They are. If you hand me 2 chocolate chip cookies, I'm not going to wait to I'm just going to eat them.
Yeah.
You give me a hot marshmallow, I'm just going to eat it. I'm not a s'more guy.
I feel like if they're like Chips Ahoy, they need something to elevate them a little bit.
Probably.
And a marshmallow might do that.
That's a very good point. All right, I can see it. 651-989-ROCK, whatever you got for us. Let's say you hit the Powerball. Let's say you got all the money in the world. What you going to do with that money to make sure you still, keep it real? What are you going to do to remind yourself and everyone else you're still you?
Oh, my thing isn't me at all, but what I'm going to do is buy a mansion and then have an aquarium put between the first floor and the second floor. So like my floor and ceiling is an aquarium. I've wanted to do this since I was in like 4th grade.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. All right. Good answer.
I just need to be rich enough to pay somebody else to clean it.
Of course. Well, yeah. That's very true.
Well, there's that. I'm going to have a modest house decked out exactly the way I want it.
Okay.
But then I'm going to have about a 10,000 square foot garage with all the Porsches in it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
All about the cars.
Hoists and everything that you need in there to fix, work on, modify, etc. Yeah.
I think I would just rent places every couple months, go somewhere else, just move in, live there for a little bit, get bored, and move on. Never have to worry about a leaky roof. Never have to worry about anything.
Yes.
Just roll. But one, the reason I'm asking this is because every now and again people do hit it rich, whether lucky Powerball or just their job turns out to go a certain way. Aaron Paul, the actor, had that happen when he was cast as Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad. Obviously, that led to a nice run with that show and things since, and he's done very well for himself. And recently, he was on Hot Ones, the YouTube show where you eat chicken wings that progressively get hotter and hotter and hotter.
Great
and
show.
It's basically a torture chamber while being interviewed. And it really is a great watch. I got to this thing way late. I mean, just in the last few years, it hit my radar, and then I went back and started watching episodes. It's fantastic.
I agree. Sean Evans does a really good job of hosting and interviewing.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Aaron Paul, while on the show, discussed the fact. He was actually asked, and he was surprised that host Sean Evans got this intel because he does research his guests very thoroughly.
Got a team, yeah.
And he said, "So hey, man, what's up with these living room concerts?" And Aaron Paul's like, "Oh my God, how'd you hear about that?" Here's the thing. Aaron Paul, he's got this weird thing where he'll spend his money on having his favorite bands come and play in his living room. Kind of awesome. I'm not surprised to hear that. If you're a touring musician, if you're a musician on any level, and a guy from a show like Breaking Bad's like, "Hey, man, you want to come play my living room?" I'm sure it's a well-paid gig. It's no pressure. It's just cool. You get to vibe out with he and his friends.
Yes.
Hell yeah, I would do that.
You don't have to do any promotion.
No.
You're not nervous if people are going to show up or not. I feel like Aaron Paul didn't go to enough basement shows, before he became big.
Right.
That's where you put the bands, just better acoustics.
Yeah, that's very true. Mm-hmm. That's very true. Cigarettes After Sex. This is not a small band.
No,
I mean,
they're not.
They've got a couple of the old anthems out there. Everybody knows, whether you know it or not. And I just looked at their Instagram. It's 5 million followers. They're doing okay for themselves. And they set up and jam in someone's. I like that he says, "I've been doing this north of 10 years." So this is dozens of times. People just show up. Now I have friends. I have musicians who play house parties. Like they just stick it. "Hey man, they're on tour and they're looking for a gig to connect 2 cities in between." And a fan will say, Come play my house party. Yeah. I've never played one. I've never been to one, but I think it's a great idea.
I've had one. I've actually hosted one in my living room.
Was it a band or a singer-songwriter?
Singer-songwriter. Matt Hires out of Nashville.
Okay.
He's become a really good friend over the years of what I do for a living. And it was awesome. It was intimate. You had, I think we had probably 20, 25 people. But it was all people we knew. And so everybody was super comfortable. People brought food. People brought drinks.
Was everybody already familiar with his music?
Not everybody.
Okay.
I would say it was maybe 50-50 or even 75-25 in favor of not familiar.
Okay.
But everybody enjoyed it. It's like, he'll take requests. You sit there and
it's a great way to get to know somebody's music. nice
100%,
intimate house party like that.
So his name, he was from Nashville. What was his name?
Matt Hires. He's originally from Tampa Bay.
Did he think it was weird when everybody showed up potluck style with like tater tot hot dish? Is he like, why are they just bringing food?
Well, twofold. First of all, there was sadly no tater tot hot dish. It was all hors d'oeuvres and whatnot. But also, no, Matt does house party tours. And so he'll go out and he'll just put out on his socials, hey, I'm coming through these towns, or I'm looking to come through these towns. Does anybody want to host? And so he'll go looking for it. And so, no, I think he's probably experienced just about everything.
This reminds me of Jeff Spicoli, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, when he, if you remember at the end of the movie, he saved Brooke Shields from drowning, blew the reward money hiring Van Halen to play his birthday party.
Yeah,
that's right where my mind goes with this. 651-989 Rock. I want to hear. Would you have you had a house party? Would you have? And if so, who would you hire? Like if you could bring anybody in. I remember years and years ago. Sheryl Crow when her first record came up, we did some dates on this tour called the Horde Tour with her.
Yeah.
And I've known her ever since, and she's awesome.
Yeah.
And this was in '99 or maybe 2000, and I bumped into her and her manager Scooter, a great guy, in New York City. Just one of those nights. It was like early December, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, good to see you." Blah blah blah. And he mentioned to me, "Oh, we got some gigs in town, Christmas week, in fact." And I go, "Oh, really? Where are you playing?" He goes, "Oh, there's just some privates." And I was like, well, I at the time I was dumbfounded. I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "We're playing like just some private parties." And I was like, "Cheryl's playing private parties?" And one of them was like in the Dakota building. And I was like, "Oh, okay. You're financing your next 5 years. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, right." I was like, "Wow, you're playing." And if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to speak out of school. One of them was a Christmas Eve soiree. And I was like, "You're doing that on Christmas Eve? Man, I need to meet some of your friends."
The dollars go up if it's Christmas Eve,
Boy,
right?
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Who would you hire? Who would you hire to play your Christmas Eve or any other house party? 651-989 Rock. I like John. John on the text line 651-989 Rock wrote, "Okay, well, anybody dead? John Martin, Martyn. In case you're wondering, that's a hell of a choice. Alive, the Blue Stones." I'm just going to say, I don't know who the Blue Stones are.
I don't know who the Blue Stones
but
are.
I love the idea that John wants them in his house.
Should I know who John Martin is? With a Y?
We'll talk afterwards.
Okay, all right.
We're not going to play him on this show.
Okay.
Our buddy Bob the Hummus guy said 4th of July, I'll have the Foo Fighters with Steve Gorman on sticks warming up for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, or warm-up band Red Hot Chili Peppers. Sounds great, never going to happen. And I'll tell you why. Foo Fighters could say, "Do you want to join the band?" And my answer would be, "God, no. I don't have that kind of energy. I'd have to have a boxing regimen for 6 months to be able to play that shit." That Foo Fighters drummer, it's an endurance test. It's an athletic feat.
Right?
As much as
cardio.
it's music, it's more just jump in that hamster wheel and run as fast as you can for 2.5 hours.
I don't know if Bob's thought about the logistics of this. It's incredible instrument. It's a lot of gear that you got to fit in your living room.
That's very true.
Man, I'm looking for like real answers that'll actually work.
Well, Ryder, I'm gonna put it in your lap then. Who you got?
Okay.
Okay.
So based on what happened during a party at the movie Weird, the Al Yankovic story, I want Weird Al to play my house party, and I want it to be just like when he walked in there and everybody had accordions.
Wow.
And so it's Weird Al just headlining with a bunch of semi-amateur accordion players.
I have a hard time believing that given the choice of anything, that's where you're going.
I don't want my house messed up. Like, I've been to a lot of basement parties.
Sure.
And I've seen beer everywhere and every bodily fluid everywhere and dudes naked and people running around.
Yeah.
Vomit probably.
That's a bodily fluid.
Fair enough.
No one needs this. You've done enough.
I did my time.
You have done your time. Make no mistake about it.
Trashy houses in Como.
We got a text from the 216 area code. Maybe we could pool our money together. Because this person said I'd have Pearl Jam be my band at a house party. Maybe the two of us can pool our money together and do the acoustic thing. That'd be good.
Just figure out the right way it's got to be a fundraiser for something. Get Eddie's attention with the right cause. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to get his attention. You're right.
Don't make it happen.
Right.
That's a simple one.
Yeah. That's a simple one. No problem.
Check this out.
Steve, who's playing your house party?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Or you and Rosemary passing on this whole thing?
No, not a chance. I don't want anybody. No. Get out of my house.
Come on.
No musicians welcome.
Play the game.
You know who I'd love, honestly?
Yeah.
And I'm not pandering to the local vibe here. Give me Paul Westerberg and an acoustic guitar. And I'll sit and listen to that dude for hours.
I mean, the number of people I met who would give their left testicle to have been at a replacement's house party back in the day.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Those would have been testicles well spent. Hey,
No
later
regrets.
on in this show, in a little less than an hour, we're going to interview Ken Burns,
The Ken Burns.
documentary filmmaker, genius, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a new one coming out this fall about the American Revolution. Holy crap, it's time for school. I cannot wait.
Yes.
I cannot wait. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, Tim Brockhouse, Elko Speedway legend car champ, will be with us. AMA Friday. Ask me anything, or ask Tim Brockhouse anything if you want to hit some questions for him on the KQ Talking text line 651-989-ROCK. Let it rip.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Let's get right to it. I'm very, very happy to say that the great Ken Burns is joining us on the show. Ken, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
It is a pleasure and an absolute honor to speak with you. We really appreciate the time. The American Revolution, a 6-part, 12-hour documentary hitting PBS in November. I know two things ahead of time already, Ken. First, I'm going to get lost in the great Peter Coyote's narration. I always do.
That's right.
And then quickly, number two, and more importantly, I'm sure early in this exercise, I will realize that I know at best the Cliff Notes version of the American Revolution. When you're putting a show like this together, how often in production do you hear yourself thinking, this is going to blow people's minds?
Every single day, because it was blowing my mind. You know, I think we all have the Cliff Notes version. You know, there's Lexington and Concord, then Washington surprises the Hessians at Trenton, and then the surrender at Yorktown. And, oh, yeah, somewhere around there, they signed the Declaration of Independence.
Right.
It's done. You know, we've sort of encased the revolution in kind of sentimental nostalgia, holding at arm's length, not accepting how violent it was. We accept the violence of the Civil War and our 20th century wars, but we sort of want to, I think, protect the big ideas of the revolution. In fact, those big ideas don't need protecting. They're the biggest ideas human beings have come up with, and it makes it even more inspiring and more exhilarating to see the story of all the battles, to meet those familiar bold-faced names that now have human dimensions, and introduce you to literally dozens of other people, like a 15-year-old kid from Boston who joins the Army, you know, a 15-year-old kid from Connecticut, a little girl in this, loyalists, German officers and their wives, British kings and prime ministers and ordinary soldiers, Irish soldiers, Native Americans. You get the whole panoply of who's involved, and they're read by, off camera, by the best cast that has ever been assembled. We have Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep and Morgan Freeman and Samuel L. Jackson and Sir Kenneth Branagh and Damian Lewis and Claire Danes and Laura Linney and Paul Giamatti and Liev Schreiber and Ethan Hawke and his daughter Maya Hawke. I could go on and on and on. 50 or 60 names that you would all know, all of whom came in and made these folks come alive. And I think, you know, this is the most important event. The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Well, you know, human nature stays the same. For the first time, there was something brand new under the sun. I think it's the most important event in world history since the birth of Christ, the creation of the United States. Everybody before that is a subject, and now you have a few people clinging to the eastern seaboard who are now this new thing called citizens. They are not under the sway of an autocrat or a monarch or something. They are governing themselves. It's sort of hallelujah, stop the presses, and I think we forget it. And as we approach the 250th, why don't we just really reinvest in those ideas? It brings us together. I want to put the us back in the U.S. with this story.
Right on. Ken Burns is with us on Gorman in the Morning. What a simple and profoundly deep concept, from subjects to citizens. That really is. That really moved me when you said that.
So when on the 4th of July, I don't know about you, but I read the Declaration to my kids. You know, they roll their eyes in the beginning. Now they listen. Every single 4th of July, I read the whole thing. You know, and it's a big list of complaints mostly. But a little bit after the famous second sentence, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Jefferson says, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable. Sounds tough to understand? It's not. It just means people tend to put up with the autocrat, tend to put up with the dictator, tend to accept that while evils are suffering. And so what we're creating is a new thing, a citizen who is responsible. When they said pursuit of happiness, they didn't mean the acquisition of stuff in a marketplace of things. They meant lifelong learning so that you could earn the respect of having the highest office in the land, which is, in fact, an individual citizen. And so the pursuit of happiness, it's always pursuit, right, is to make yourself a better human being so that you are able to exercise this just unbelievably new privilege called being a citizen. So it's kind of sad these days where we pulled out civics, we pulled out history, we're not telling social studies, we're not getting people a sense of what went on, and that's my job now. That's my job, is to just tell these stories, these battles, these ideas, these people, these just gobsmacking like I had no idea. I spent the last 10 years going, oh my God, I had no idea. And now I'm hoping you guys will say the same thing.
I don't doubt that for a second. No one better to deliver that message than Ken Burns, who's with us on Gorman in the Morning. The revolution was an 8-year struggle. So, no spoilers here, but let's just, real general question. Would you say that more often than not, it felt hopeless for the Americans?
So, I was in Lexington last month on the 250th anniversary of the Battle of Lexington Green, and then later at Concord North Bridge and stuff. The chances of this happening, being a success, are absolutely zero. We're up against the greatest, most far-flung empire on earth with the greatest navy on earth, and the chances are zero, and somehow 6 years later when the fighting stops at Yorktown, 8 years later when the Treaty of Paris is finally signed and the damn Brits leave Savannah and Charleston and, most important, New York City, and then we're left with, what the hell do we do now? These Articles of Confederation are useless. Let's have a constitution. Who are we going to pick? The guy who just gave up all his military power. And what does he do? He gets elected unanimously. And then what does he do after that? He gives up his political power, which even King George III says, well, if he's done that, then he's the greatest character of the age. And so I am very happy to deliver the spoiler alert that without George Washington, we do not have a country, and I will prove it again and again and again in this film.
Ken Burns is with us.
Is he a complicated person? Yes.
Yeah.
Flawed, rash, rides out on the battlefield risking his life when he shouldn't do it, makes some really bad military decisions at the biggest battle of the Revolution, the Battle of Long Island, and then later does the same thing, leaves his left flank unprotected in Long Island and his right flank at Brandywine. Two big, gigantic battles. But he's the bee's knees. He's the guy. Without him, no country.
Ken Burns, the bad news is we got to wait till November, but the good news is we'll all be watching. Make no mistake about that. Finally.
I'm like, think of me as Paul Revere. I'm on horseback. The revolution is coming. The revolution is coming. The revolution is coming.
We think first and foremost about the impact of the revolution on this new country that we're all a part of. And, of course, the British Empire. But in real time, it really changed the world, didn't it?
It totally changed the world. First of all, our allies, the French, basically by coming in on our side and reading and hearing about these lessons of freedom, overthrow their monarch. But we set in motion more than 2 centuries of revolution, democratic revolution across the world. And it is, the greatest export we've ever made are those ideas embodied in the second sentence of the Declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident. The last thing in the world in 1776 that was self-evident were these truths, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Can't take them away. Nobody can veto. Nobody can override the veto. This is, among these life, liberty, and as I said, that lifelong pursuit of happiness. Doesn't get it. So that's the second best sentence in the English language. The first is, of course, I love you.
Boy, there's real magic in the result of the revolution, and it's real magic in this documentary, I'm sure. Ken, I know you got a very tight schedule, my man. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
I can't imagine anybody listening isn't now counting the days. November 16th, this will debut Sunday night on PBS. I cannot wait. And again, all the best with this one.
And streaming for the rest of eternity.
Yeah. So. Great. That's fantastic. Everybody's favorite historian, Ken Burns. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Take care. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Well, I could have listened to him talk all day.
Oh, yeah.
The passion that comes through talking about this, and honestly, it's maybe even better than July 4th going into Memorial Day weekend, listening to him. It just, wow.
He is Paul Revere.
Yeah, he truly is.
He nailed it.
Yeah. No, that's it. I so many of his I mentioned the one of his first ones, the Brooklyn Bridge, last week on the show. I had no idea we were going to talk to him right now.
Yeah.
But the Civil War is still one of the most mind-boggling. Like my life, I feel like there was before I saw that, and then there was after it. Because, and if this Revolutionary War, the American Revolution is half as insightful and as impactful, and I'm quite certain it's every bit as much as the Civil War series. It's probably something that should be absolutely everybody should be made to watch this and learn these stories.
He just takes everything that I slept through in high school and then makes it so that I absolutely cannot stop watching it.
You know what? He just, in the last 10 minutes, I maybe learned more than I did in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the amount of knowledge he just dropped on us in 10 minutes was insane, and I wasn't paying attention when my teacher said it.
Absolutely fantastic.
92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS with Fletcher and Ryder. Good Friday morning, the Friday of the holiday weekend ahead. Very glad to be with you.
3 whole days?
3 whole days?
Man, I'm stoked.
Go figure. 3 whole days, Memorial Day weekend. Let's see, Memorial Day this Monday. It's not only Memorial Day, but it's also May 26th, which means it's absolutely the specific anniversary of my greatest athletic achievement when I broke both my arms playing basketball on May 26, 1986.
That was when you fell flat on your face because both your arms were broken, right?
Well, no, not on my face.
Okay.
The arms stopped my face from taking the hit.
That's how you broke. Okay, got it.
Left elbow, right wrist. It was a great summer.
It sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the funnest part was going to the ER with 2 broken arms, and it was full of people who had blown themselves up on barbecue grills. Yeah, a lot of burn victims on the big holidays.
I will be keeping my fingers even if I can't use them.
Yeah, it was. It was like, we'll get to you as soon as we can with those 2 broken arms, but we got all these burn victims over here, and I was like, yeah, go ahead, tend to them first.
I lived in Omaha for 10 years, and there are not a lot of fireworks laws in Omaha.
Okay,
I'm talking 2-inch mortar shells, et cetera, et cetera. But our overlying rule always was fingers first.
Right. Sure.
Fingers always come first. Doesn't matter how great the explosions are. Fingers first.
That's a good rule to live by. I'm feeling Minnesota, which means Paul Fletcher needs to lay some headlines on us.
I can already smell the deep-fried ranch, my friends. State Fair's kickoff to summer got started yesterday, so if you need a little preemptive jolt of State Fair without the masses and free parking, now's your chance. They've got more food than ever at the kickoff party. They've got yard games and, free parking. Free parking. That's massive. Yeah, I love it. Well, me and Mrs. Fletcher are going right after the show, in fact.
I like
for a bit.
that.
Yeah, for a couple hours. A music talent agency called Sound Talent Group says 3 of its employees were killed in Thursday's plane crash in a San Diego neighborhood. In case you aren't familiar with the situation, a private jet hit a power line in foggy weather and smashed into a home. It's just, there have been so many aviation accidents over the last 6 months. It's insane. The agency confirmed that co-founder Dave Shapiro was killed. Shapiro's the owner of the plane and has a pilot's license. Also owns a flight school called Velocity Aviation. Former drummer of the band Devil Wears Prada, Daniel Williams, was believed to have been on the plane as well. Is Mr. Ryder a fan of Devil Wears Prada?
Doubt it.
No.
No? Okay.
They're too mainstream for him, and I am still aware that nobody listening has ever heard of this band.
Wow. Think about that.
I've never heard of the band, and I read that they're like a Christian metal band. Is that how you would describe
Are
that?
they Christian?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Apparently so.
Okay.
By the way,
the emo boat.
That plane went into his Navy housing areas, all U.S. Navy housing where it crashed in. So
that stuff is insane.
It's tough.
It really is insane. It's the right word for it. It's just, and how frequently it's been happening lately. Barbenheimer was a massive weekend once upon a time, and this weekend is looking to be massive as well. We'll call it Stitch Impossible, I guess. Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning are expected to do potentially Memorial Day weekend record-setting numbers. Box office prediction of $485 million for the weekend.
Oof. That's some serious cheese,
That's like
man.
$500 million.
I know.
Yeah.
Weekend. I mean, it's 2 films. They get an extra day, but still, that's a boatload of dough.
Remind me, Lilo and Stitch, who are they? What do they do?
It's a Disney thing. A little girl finds this alien, basically, that's seeking refuge on Earth and plays itself off as a dog. And
is she from Hawaii?
Yeah, it's in Hawaii.
Yeah, that was a brief thing with the kids. Been a while.
Yeah, it's funny with it coming out and our 8-year-old talking about it with everybody. Yeah. I'm amazed at how many adult friends have that's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Disney movies of all time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's I don't know what the deal is. I've never gotten deep into it, but we're going to see it this weekend. I can guarantee you that. So
all right,
we'll find out.
And then this is Mission Impossible. Is it the 8th one, I believe? Is that correct?
8th or 10th?
Oh, I don't know. It's the last one, though, right? They are saying this is it.
They say. I mean, the franchise has been going for 30 years. I've already talked to people that have seen it and said it's as good as all the others.
And is the thing in this, is there a scene where he, Cruise holds his breath underwater for 5 minutes or something? Is that, or am I just making that up?
That I hadn't seen. I've seen him hanging off a yellow biplane.
Okay.
He does all his own stunts, of course. Yeah,
okay.
He's nuts. Yeah. That guy's crazy. Hey, according to grilling experts, there is a right way and a wrong way to grill hot dogs. All right. First off, the experts recommend spending a few extra bucks on the good stuff because even expensive hot dogs are relatively cheap. So the extra cost is money well spent. Heading into Memorial Day weekend, you'll have the grill fired up. Here's how you need to do it. When cooking your hot dogs, don't mess around. Crank it up high heat and then grill them as fast as possible while turning them frequently. Once they're browned and charred evenly, serve them quickly.
Hot and fast, turning frequently. I like it.
Man, I've always opted for. I prefer hot dogs to hamburgers just because it's so much easier to deal with. With the burger, you actually have to think about. I mean, if I'm grilling one or the other, and they always go together. If you say to me, you have a choice, I'm going to take the hot dog every time.
See, I don't take the easy route. I got the flat top. I got the expensive blend of meats. You get caramelized the onions up in the top corner, and then you smash the burgers.
Like
my God!
I love the result. If I have to prepare them, just give me a knife. Let me cut into the dog thing and just throw them all on the grill and turn them. I just want it quick.
Okay.
I just never trust myself with food. I mean, a hot dog, it's already you can't undercook a hot dog. It's already cooked.
Yeah. Well, you can get
so I feel safer like
brat
that.
or hot dog, by the way.
What's that?
Brat or hot dog?
Well, if I'm going for if I'm starving, I want hot dogs. I can't have more. One brat's great, but something about 3 hot dogs and a bag of chips that sets me free.
You're eating 3 hot dogs at one time?
Sometimes, sure. Look how big I am.
Tiny little hot dogs. Yeah. Brat or hot dog?
Always brat.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Wallet Hub, on a side note, did a survey of the biggest meats for Memorial Day weekend around the country, and Minnesota, much like the rest of the Midwest, came in with brats.
All right,
so
very good.
You're not off on that.
Right. Fair enough.
Brats over hot dogs, too. The St. Paul Saints are about as Minnesota as it gets. John Oliver did not choose the St. Paul Saints for his last week tonight rebrand, but that didn't stop the Saints from making the most of it last night. Mm-hmm. They hosted Plain Night. Their goal was to make the game as boring as possible. The first 1,000 people into the ballpark got one plain white piece of paper.
Nice.
Instead of the peanut toss during the 7th inning stretch, they just threw white bread at the crowd. And there was even a PowerPoint presentation on the Jumbotron featuring the names they didn't use when the team was founded back in 1993.
And those names are?
The Accountants.
The Accountants. Okay.
The Municipals.
Municipals. Okay. I like it.
And the Eastern Gray Squirrels.
See, I'm all for I'm all for the EGS, the Eastern Gray Squirrels. That would have been pretty strong.
Absolutely. Think of the mascot possibilities.
Yeah, exactly.
They already got the rally squirrel, wanders all over the stadium.
I think instead of one big squirrel mascot, they could have had just 26 tiny little people and, small children or whatever. But, because, you never see just one squirrel. There's always a bunch of them.
That's true. Yeah.
And I will. You can definitely say that St. Paul Saints as a name is kind of bland.
Sure is.
But there's nothing bland inside CHS Field. They got a pig. Who needs an eastern gray squirrel when you've got a big old pig wandering the dugout?
Not that it matters because it is minor league baseball, but they did win the game. That helps.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. Yeah,
I thought they lost.
No, they won 3-2.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
I thought the Tides beat them.
No.
Right,
We stemmed the tides, brother.
There we go.
Wow.
The dad joke of the day.
That was really good. The U.S. Treasury announced yesterday it will stop issuing new pennies, ending more than 200 years of production for the 1-cent coin. The Mint has already placed its final order for penny blanks, which is the metal discs used to create coins, and going to continue minting until that supply runs out, which is likely 2026.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can still use your existing pennies, in case you were wondering.
Yeah. But they will still use. So we're gonna be done with pennies. Everything's gonna be at least 5 cents in cash, but
Really?
online.
Okay.
But if you're purchasing digitally, it will still go to the penny. I did see that.
Yeah, digital doesn't affect it because you don't actually use pennies.
I'm saying so in real life, day to day, everything that's a penny is going to cost you a nickel. But anything else, when you're getting that order online and it's $12.83, you'll only be charged $12.83. It won't be $12.85.
I'm stockpiling, and you guys are going to be sorry.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're going to keep all your pennies?
I'm keeping them all.
Okay. I like it. Maybe you could open up a penny museum one day.
Coinstar be damned.
Yes.
The class of 2025 at Bridgewater State University of Massachusetts got more than just a diploma at their graduation ceremony. They got 1,000 pennies each from billionaire businessman Robert Hale Jr.
1,000 pennies?
I thought they got $1,000.
Isn't that 1,000 pennies? No, it's
1,000
10,000 pennies. 10,000 pennies.
100,000 pennies.
And oh my God!
$1,000.
Remember when I first started? I told you there are little things that just go over my head. That I just brain fart on.
Yeah.
There's one
a
right there.
A penny is not a dollar.
No, you're right.
Wow.
You're right.
We need to sit down and go over your finances.
No, we don't. It's fine. 100 into 100. I'm not stupid. I just don't think sometimes.
Okay.
100,000 pennies. I was trying
$1,000.
I was trying to do a joke and it just went sideways. Billionaire businessman Robert Hale Jr. was on hand to give the commencement speech. And before wrapping up his speech, he announced the graduates would each get $1,000. He urged them to keep $500 for themselves and give $500 to a cause or a person who needs it. By the way, Robert Hale Jr. is the founder and CEO of Granite Telecommunications. They provide services for businesses.
So wait, this donation is not mandatory. They could just keep the entire $1,000 for themselves.
Do whatever they want with it.
Any kind of financial advisor would tell these kids, hang on to that $1,000.
That's exactly right.
I mean,
the number is good though, because it's like you're not giving them too much. Because I'm sure he's looking at it like if I give them 10 grand each or 50 grand each, they're not going to be driven. They'll be sit back and maybe take some time off. Blah blah. This is just enough to kind of get you going, but you're still going to have to work. You still have to get after it.
It's good to be a graduate of Bridgewater State University
today. Not a bad bit. It's a good bit.
My only question: do we know how many graduates there were? I'm 1,400. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's putting your money where your mouth is right there. All right. Well done.
Do you want me to figure out how many pennies that is?
I don't.
no thanks.
No. No, do that on your own time.
Okay.
See, this is our time.
Okay.
You're here, and I'm here. This is our time.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, man, and I know there's a pizza in that other room, too.
And there's a pizza in the room, too. I was going there myself.
It is on our time.
It is not our time in terms of Timberwolf Nation, anyway. It looks like it's the Thunder's time. Last night in Game 2, look, I'm not saying it's over. I'm just saying it's going to be over soon.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves, who are a fine basketball team, one of the best on the planet, are playing against, sadly, the best basketball team on the planet, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Made it to halftime down 8. It felt like they were down 20. Came out in the third quarter. And then, bad decisions and then transition buckets on the outside of that. You get a couple of turnovers against this team, and that immediately turns into 2 and 3 points on the other end. Thunder went on a 14-2 run, just stymieing, bewildering the Timberwolves offense. It's kind of astonishing to see. If I weren't cheering so hard against the Thunder, I'd appreciate it even more because it's this is as good a defensive basketball team as I have ever seen in my life, and I have been watching a lot of basketball for a lot of years. Wolves were 6 for 20 in the third, 0 for 6 from 3, 5 turnovers, all of which turned into buckets at the other end. You just aren't going to win games like that. The Oklahoma City Thunder will finish this playoffs if they continue as they're going now as the greatest point per game victory total in league history. Wow. They already set the regular season record this year as well. They are sublime.
Wow, so they can drop them as well as play stifling defense.
They're just it
sort of sounds like the recipe of a champion.
That's exactly what this is. The Wolves need to play, quite honestly, perfect basketball to get back into the series, and then they have to play perfect basketball and get lucky to win the series. The Minnesota Frost have put themselves right back into contention in the finals of the PWHL. They were down 1 game to the Ottawa, what do you call
Charge.
them? Thank you, the Charge. I was going to call them the Ottawans. Screw them.
It is Ottawa.
Ottawa scored Ottawa scored with 2.5 minutes left in regulation to take a 1-0 lead. And then with 16 seconds on the clock last night,
Panic taking the draw for Minnesota. 1 back for the Frost. It's Steckline, walks in. Thompson lets a look. In front, Phillips, they score!
Britta Curl Salome with the goal right there. And then she added another one in overtime. So a 2-1 victory has the Frost coming back home for Saturday and Monday's games 3 and 4 at the X. After losing a playoff game in their 2 years, the Frost are 5-1. So they don't drop 2 in a row very often.
Let's set up the lawn chairs on West 7th for the parade. I'm already going to be there. It's happening next week. Let's go.
It's nice of you to join the team all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's how it is in every sport always. You win games and suddenly...
It's just interesting that Ryder's going to join at the parade, not at the games. She's not even, it's like post-bandwagging almost.
No, listen, Ryder understands very clearly.
That's where they need me the most.
That's where the beer is, too,
If
right?
she hasn't been there now, don't go there now and then take a chance at jinxing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just show up to celebrate.
Yeah, I love it. No, I love it. Actually, it's great.
The Twins had a day off tonight. They start a 3-game series with the Royals at home. Tonight, 7:10 first pitch. Both tomorrow and Sunday, 1:10 first pitch. Get out and see a nice afternoon baseball game at Target Field if you get a chance. The Royals come into town. Both teams 5 games over 500. Should be a fine series for the weekend. Circle Pines, Minnesota. Where are you at? I don't mean that literally. I know where you're at. I'm looking at a map right now. But we're happy to have you with us this morning, Circle Pines.
Welcome, Circle Pines. We appreciate your ears.
Absolutely we do. Now, Ryder, you just referenced the fact that we had a pizza in studio. It's not just any pizza. It's a Cheez-It pizza.
Explain how is a Cheez-It pizza? Like a pizza with Cheez-Its on it? Or what's happening here?
No, that would make sense.
Okay.
It's a Cheez-It crust, the original Cheez-It flavored cracker thin crust with, frozen pizza cheese and frozen pizza sauce on top of it.
So it's a Cheez-It crust as opposed to, like, say, your healthier cauliflower crust you see sometimes at Costco. Cheez-It crust. Cheez-It's making their own frozen pizzas now. We've got the Italian 4-cheese version. and you've got this miracle spaceship pizza maker thing.
Yeah.
This pizza heater upper, I call it.
Yeah. Pizzazz?
The pizzazz.
Yes.
The thing is,
I've led a sheltered life. I've never seen one in my life until right now.
It does look like another world's technology, kind of, sort of.
It does seem to be the case.
You guys are late to the party on this pizzazz thing.
Clearly. All right. We got a Cheez-It pizza in studio. Mm-hmm. It's been heated. Some of it has been consumed. My phone's blowing up. One of my buddies is shocked you guys haven't discovered, I think, what he called God's greatest gift to his people, the pizzazz. Man, trust me, I'm a recent convert, and like all recent converts, I'm ready to go preach the good word. I'll run to the mountaintops for this thing.
I mean, it's super cool, but I've got a pizza stone. I throw it on the grill, and life is good. I can do without the pizzazz. It's cool though.
Can you bring all that into the studio?
No.
Okay.
No.
See.
But I don't plan on cooking pizza in the studio for you anytime soon. So.
Well, you don't have to do it for me. I'm just saying, we're talking radio pizza here, man. The Cheez-It pizza smells great while under the pizzazz heat.
Yes.
Under the sun lamp, I call it.
And it smelled very Cheez-It-y. I did get a waft of that in, and it does smell like that Cheez-It smell.
Yeah, it certainly does. And then the real, the proof of the pudding, it tastes okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste as much like Cheez-It as I was hoping it would.
Really? Even with all that smell?
Yeah, the smell. They got the smell right. The crust itself, maybe it's because of the toppings getting in the way, but I don't, if you had just given me that and I'd eaten it, I wouldn't have thought, oh, this tastes like a Cheez-It.
What does it taste like then?
It tastes like slightly different frozen pizza crust. It's like they dyed it orange and made it taste a little bit different. It actually smells much better than it tastes.
Yeah, it's less Cheez-It, more cardboard.
Yeah. Correct.
So what kind of Cheez-It pizza did we get, and what are the toppings on it?
It's just Italian 4 cheese. It's just because I was the one that picked it out. There's also pepperoni and there's supreme, but I thought let's get the one that's the simplest, that's going to let the crust shine, and unfortunately it doesn't shine that brightly.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be enhanced with more toppings?
Perhaps. I mean, you never know. Yeah,
sure.
I mean, we could have done 2 or 3, I suppose.
You would, but then you'd be even further away from finding any Cheez-It flavor.
Right.
Okay.
It would just taste like it would just taste like a regular frozen pizza with a kind of an odd crust underneath, like as Fletcher said, the orange crust, which is a little bit of a flex.
Would you prefer one of those like goofy tomato pie style things with no cheese on it? So just your Cheez-It and then your red sauce?
I tell you what I'd prefer, just a bag of Cheez-Its. That would work for me because it's never not worked, and I don't think it's going to stop working anytime soon.
Okay, so thumbs up, thumbs down. You guys eating another one of these ever?
No.
If in a pinch, if it was all I had and I was really hungry, kind of like what just happened here, really hungry, and that's all there is, yeah, I'd have a few pieces. But I'm not going to search it. It ain't no Heggies, baby.
Okay.
Nah.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm not going to search it out.
No.
I mean? If the kids wanted to try it, sure, but yeah.
No, again, I'll just go to the vending machine next time I'm this hungry, and I'll just get some Cheez-Its, and I'll feel pretty good about that. They've never let me down before. Elko Speedway's Tim Brockhouse coming in momentarily. Hang with us.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Joining us in studio right now, Tim Brockhouse, a legend car champion, part owner of Mega Properties, new operator, most importantly, of the Elko Speedway. Good morning, sir.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
You've got a lot on your plate these days.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, I've slept about 3 hours in the last 2 weeks, I feel like.
Nice. So. Elko's kicking off the season tomorrow night, correct?
Yeah, Elko Speedway. We're having our first Eve of Destruction. It's our first event for the Mega Corporation.
Okay.
If you want to check out my hat, you probably know what Mega stands for. Making Elko great again. So
there you go.
There you go. I like it. I like it.
So a little play, and we stole a little bit, and hopefully Mr. Trump doesn't send us a cease and desist order.
Watch your back. Making Elko great again, that's a good plan.
I like that.
Elko's been around for a really long time, but you've been a part of it forever, but just now, first year, you're kind of taking the reins a little bit.
Yeah, so Elko Speedway, me, and the Super Bowl are all 60 years old this year. So Elko Speedway was
I'm right there with
formed in 1965, been around forever. You know, Elko is a great place, so, you know, obviously our name is just making a play on it, but you know, we've we're taking it to a different level. We're putting in a Rack Shack barbecue and all kinds of stuff. So we're the formula that's worked there has been great for years. So we're not changing that at all, but we're definitely adding some other stuff. We got a drifter event coming up, which is going to be off the hook. You know, those drifter guys are crazy. So this will be really cool. But we have the drifter guys on Saturday nights. Like they'll be here this weekend, and so they put on their little show but now we're actually doing an event. It'll be a 3-day event in June. So
that's fantastic. So you mentioned the Eve of Destruction events. You've got, so what is that? For someone that has no idea what you're talking about, what can they expect if they go to Elko? Say tomorrow night, opening night, you've got legend car races. The track is how long?
It's 3/8 of a mile long.
And how many different events are there? How many races can someone take in tomorrow?
Like, it's a family affair, you know. Yeah. So you can bring out the kids. We got a petting zoo. We've got monster trucks, lumberjack show, which is really cool. These guys climb up and saw logs off with these big chainsaws and make a lot of noise and do some cool stuff there. There's some other things going on.
What's a spectator drag?
Spectator drag could be you guys can just jump in your cars and come out there and cruise. I'll tell you what's really fast there is the Teslas. You race for one lap, and it's single elimination. And then at the last two guys left, right? It's awesome. The last two guys left, then they'll do like a best 2 out of 3 thing, and then that guy gets bragging rights until the next time they race again.
Tesla races?
They're on the asphalt. They're out there in a passenger car going out there just giving it.
How many of them lose their Tesla in the process?
Well, it's not for titles. It's not like old school
No.
stuff.
I mean, how many of them wreck their Tesla?
Well, we've seen it. So I remember there was a guy years ago came out there in a really sweet, like 67 Chevelle, and he flipped it on the front straightaway.
Wow!
And that's a
piece of history going up in smoke.
The funny thing is, the guy I just heard about this. The guy he was racing against was his kid.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
So
I know there's a lot of people listening who their reaction to that is, that's insane. I would never do that. But more importantly, there's a few people going, oh yeah, I gotta get there.
Dude,
that sounds like a plan.
He told me, he's like, the car he races, Legend. He's like, I could put you inside one. I'm immediately like, okay, let's look at the calendar and see what weekend works, because I'm all in.
Right on. Any Thursday, we do actually do test drives out there on Thursdays when we have our test and tunes.
Wow. Yes, please.
So these Legend cars, you can top them off about how fast are you going out there?
At Elko, we're doing about 94 miles an hour.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And 3/8 of a mile track.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's a tiny track. Yeah. And in a general race, how many cars are on the track at one time? What's the most you'll see in a pack?
Roughly about 30.
94 miles an hour with 29 of your best friends real close.
And 10-year-olds to 80-year-olds. So
okay, let's talk about what the 10-year-olds are driving.
Yeah, 10-year-olds. So like Keelan Harvick, okay, and Kyle Busch's kid, Brexton, they raced at Hickory Motor Speedway in North Carolina just last night. And so I've known both of them kids. My son Ayrton, who is a national champion in 2023. He's actually sitting out in the lobby. He just turned 15 years old 2 days ago, and he's won like 60 races in the last couple of years. But he's actually raced with Keelan and those guys too. So it's a big. The Legend cars are great because they're the next faces of the sport. The Bando kids are the ones that moved to Legends and all that too. So
Bandoleros you're talking about.
Yeah, correct. So I actually own this company called Great North Legends. And go to www.greatnorthlegends.com and check it out. And what we do is we service the cars, we sell them, and we help these kids to grow and to be the next big late model guys and hopefully the next NASCAR guys.
Tim Brockhouse in studio with us from Elko Speedway. So obviously your son grew up. This is just the family business. What was your pop doing? Were you also watching your dad race cars?
So oddly enough, my dad raced motorcycles for years, and his real job, he worked for WCCO television for 42 years. Huh. Yeah, so he's retired now, and he hangs out. He comes to a lot of races and that kind of stuff, lives in Lake Minnetonka. But he raced motorcycles for years, and at the ripe old age or young age of 50, he started his dirt car racing career and did some of that for a while, and that's kind of what got me into it as well.
Fantastic. You ever get on the motorcycles yourself?
I did back in the day. I raced motorcycles, and I crashed really hard one night on the first date with my ex-wife, and that was the last time I raced a motorcycle.
It's some lessons are tougher learned than others.
Sounds like an easy way to be scared out of something, though.
Yeah,
it's like, makes sense. You know what? I'll take four wheels in a roof, please.
Yeah, exactly, and a roll cage. They're pretty safe. I actually flipped like 6 times on a dirt track down in Ohio a few years back. Got a concussion. Woke up, not knowing my name, but I don't know. Maybe it works out good because then it gives you an excuse, right?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to be selfish again for 1 second.
Please.
Okay, so let's say I come out on a Thursday. Maybe Ryder and I do a one-on-one race or something. What say I roll the car? Is that my dime or yours?
Yeah, so we'll make sure we put that on KQRS's dime. And
that's not going to fly.
No, that's not all right. Well,
nope.
Yeah, no, we obviously have a crash clause, so, the majority
it's
of people...
unlikely.
Yeah, the majority of people aren't going to go out there and try to, give it the biscuits the first time that they hit the racetrack. It's pretty intimidating. You're in this little tiny car. It is extremely loud.
Yeah.
And you think you're going Mach 10, and we're all standing there going, okay, buddy, come on now, hit the gas. The right foot's the pedal.
And meanwhile, the person in the car is going, woohoo!
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Tim, on the other end of the spectrum, it says school bus races tomorrow.
Yeah, school bus races. That's a big thing. The kids love that. So literally do you have
a CDL to do that, or what's happening?
Well, actually what we do is we implore some of our race car drivers to get out there. So this is, we don't have any kids in the bus now. So, but
that's probably best.
Yeah, that would be a little intimidating. But no, so the school bus races are really a big hit out there. It's kind of at the end of the night. We flip a few of them every now and then, which is pretty exciting and very noisy. And then at the end of the year, we actually do a figure 8 school bus race, and then we have trailer races too, where everybody's got a trailer, hung onto the back of their car, and then destroy that stuff.
Okay.
I don't imagine the kids get a bigger thrill in life than seeing a school bus roll over on a track.
Yeah, as long as they're not in it.
Well, sure,
right?
that's what I mean. It's like there's something about that.
School bus figure 8, though. Do you get T-bones?
They do. They do.
God, I'm so all in on this. Let's go. I'm in.
It's fantastic. Tim Brockhouse from Elko Speedway's in studio with us. So back in the day, you weren't afraid to hop on a motorcycle. Also, word on the street back in the day, you used to rock a little bit.
I was in a band back in the day.
Come on,
I might have
man.
showed you guys a picture or so, but that was another life ago.
Is that what that was?
Yeah. So
all right, what were you playing in that band?
I sang.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Wow.
I originally started as a drummer.
Attaboy.
And but I couldn't handle sitting in the back. Everybody, I had to be that guy.
That's
up front,
you're the guy,
right? So
yeah. Crew chief, I'm driving this bad boy. That's you.
Right.
What was the name of the band?
What's that?
Name of the band?
It was called the Fenderbergs.
That makes sense.
Fenderbergs.
The tracks. That's a good name.
So it's a little car thing, but a guitar thing, and
Man,
that's always the the iceberg that forms on the fender of your car in good old Minnesota.
Yeah.
So
is a Fenderberg? I wonder if Fenderbergs is available.
I'm always needing a band name. I'm in like 6 bands at a time. We always need names. It's the hardest thing to come up with.
Fenderbergs.
Yeah.
Well, I've slowed down on my racing career. I actually ran last weekend, and it was kind of cool to run with my boy. But running 2 racetracks now, because we actually own another racetrack in Tomah, Wisconsin, Tomah Sparta Speedway. My wife's there actually now, so she can't hear me on the radio knowing that I'm not doing my job right now.
Right, okay.
But we'll be actually, as soon as we leave the studio here, we're heading straight out there, and we've got an event there tonight. And then leaving there and driving 3 more hours back to Elko Speedway to put on our first event there. So.
Man, that's fantastic. So in your bio, it says Legend Car Champion.
So I've won the Legend Car Nationals a couple, 6, 8 times, I guess.
A couple, 6, 8.
Yeah, and so I've done this for a long time. I won 246 races. I'm really trying to win these last 4 to make 250, but my kid won't let me win anymore. He's way faster than me. So, but I've had great experiences with it, and so it was great for my kid to jump in.
First
and do the
win.
same.
How old were you?
Oh my God! Legend Car, the first win, I was 39.
Okay.
But my first win, I raced karts, I raced shifter karts, I raced motorcycles, dirt cars, sprint cars, about everything. I fell in love with these Legend cars back in 2001. A buddy of mine got me into it, and I haven't left since. And I liked it so much, I just bought the company.
Yeah.
So.
Heck yeah. No, but let's go back. So when you're a kid, first big win that you remember, how old were you probably when all of a sudden you're like, hey, not only do I dig this, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah, I think I was at the nursery and I was racing some kid on all 4s all the way across the crib, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've kind of raced the whole time. And to be honest with you, I that first win that I had in the Legend car was super important, but I raced karts for a long time, and there's a lot of those things that, again, that was in the 80s. It was a little hazy back then. So
I like asking a guy about his first win, and you're not even sure. That's how many there were.
Been a long
when there's
time.
246 of them, you're like,
My first win in a Legend car was at Fergus Falls, Minnesota, which is now a dirt track. It used to be asphalt, but
right on.
I recall going there that I was everybody left and went to the hotel, and I was left at the racetrack by myself, and I stayed there. And I'm like, well, this sucks because I got nobody to even brag to. So.
Oh, man. Oh, you're bragging to us now. We're very impressed. ElkoSpeedway.com is the place to go for more information. Opening night tomorrow night, Saturday, May 24th. I like the I just like that there's lumberjacks on hand. Something about that's pretty darn cool, too.
And school buses.
It is very cool. Yeah.
Can't beat it.
Tim, is your buddy from the text line is asking, is the bar open yet? That's from Conrad, Thunder Car Champ.
Conrad Jorgensen. Yeah, good for him. Yeah, we're the Rack Shack Barbecue will be open tonight. That's the cool thing that we brought into the Speedways. We're going to be offering different kinds of food. Rack Shack, the guy who owns is Wade Brelge, and he is like a national champion barbecue cook-off type guy, and so the food is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's something else that we're adding to regular old cheeseburgers and hot dogs, popcorns you get at most racetracks, where this is really, really good barbecue. So
that is fantastic. Wow. Tickets are available, as I said, elkospeedway.com. This is a bargain for family entertainment.
Yeah, it is. $25 for adults, and the kids actually have. There's obvious discounts on some of that stuff. Yep. You can go on the website or on our Facebook page and actually check that stuff out. But we also offer suites. We have suites upstairs for people who want to pay a little bit extra and sit in there.
Nice.
We've got one of our partners in the company is Eternity Homes, a good buddy of mine, Pat Flynn, and so he bought 2 suites now and pit spots and all kinds of stuff. And then he sponsored the Thunder Cars on top of it. But his grandson runs in the bandos, so I said, you can't sponsor the bandos.
Okay, yeah, no.
Conflict of interest.
Got to keep those lines clear, baby.
Oh, yeah.
There's even music, live music.
There's live music, schizophrenic at night. So when you get done eating, you get done watching the race, and you can come in the bar, hang out, have a few adult beverages, and watch some really good music by Schizophrenic. They're a really good group. I've seen them briefly before. When I'm at the racetrack, I don't have much time to do anything because I'm working basically, and so I kind of cruise by and check out these guys. But these guys here are special. They're really good.
Fantastic. Tim Brockhouse, elkospeedway.com. I wish you the best for the season. We'll definitely get ourselves up there. Thanks for coming in.
Right on, brothers. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Travel safe over to Wisconsin now.
All right, thanks.
All right, cheers. It is Friday afternoon. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen.
It's Friday afternoon?
To me, it is.
Feels like
I got up at 3 o'clock. It's the afternoon. I'm sorry. Was I supposed to specify standard time? Come on, man. My weekend's kicking off right now, Jack.
This is our time, though, remember?
That's right. This is our time. We've got just enough time. Today's last word. Just one of those sort of cautionary tales if you want to pursue a career in show business.
Okay.
The original movie, Snow White. The Disney film, the classic.
1937.
Snow White was voiced by a woman named Adriana Casalotti, and she was not credited for the role. Disney had a rule that said voice actors don't get credit in animated movies because we want to, quote, preserve the magic. So they didn't give her any credit. She was paid $970 for the movie, which that's not bad money back then
sure.
But it's, think about what Snow White did. It's about $22,000. By the way, never got hired again because Disney blocked her from doing anything. They never wanted another audience to recognize her voice.
Oh, really?
What?
Studios used to do a lot of shady stuff.
The magical kingdom, indeed, huh?
We've been to Walt Disney Studios out in California.
Yeah, and next time you go?
They've got the dwarfs on their building, right? And they've got them in a position where they're holding up the building, and the symbolism is how Snow White built Walt.
Sure.
And here they jobbed.
Next time you go, get a photo of Adriana Casalotti and just put it on your T-shirt and walk around and say, "Justice for AC."
Yeah, for sure.
I like it.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea.
Next week on this show, comedian Greg Coleman, Jesse Pierce will join us if the Frosts go to Game 5. And you'll have chances to win KQ Karaoke Cruise tickets throughout the week. KQ Karaoke Cruise, June 20th, ladies and gentlemen. Go to 92KQRS.com to buy some tickets. Fletcher, what's coming up?
When other stations might be slacking off, we are keeping it fresh next week. So just keep that in mind, live and local.
Live and local.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan.
I mean, we're going to take our proper day off, but then live and local after that, right?
What's up today?
Garbage tickets around 12:30, and then I'm basically just getting us to Jade because with Jade comes in at 3, we kick off KQ's officially unofficial summer kickoff weekend. Talking about a perfect soundtrack for wherever you're at, the backyard, the boat, wherever.
That makes
covered. So I'm basically just going to get you to her.
That makes perfect sense, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. This is Minnesota's 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.